Happy Feast of the Epiphany. Palakpakan po natin ang Panginoon. This is actually, in the traditionally has been named as the Feast of the Three Kings, talking about the Magi. But if we try to reflect on the word Epiphany, it actually means manifestation. It is the Lord showing Himself. No? And do you know that there are four epiphanies in the life of Jesus? No? It has not been perhaps given emphasis. But the first epiphany, when the Lord showed Himself when He was born, was to the shepherds. Remember, no? When He was born, no, with the shepherds, no, in the fields, no, they with their animals, no, they were before the baby born in the manger. And then the second is this, no, when in Bethlehem, the Magi, as they say, no, the wise men, or perhaps they call the three kings from the east, no, they traveled, no, from a long distance, no, guided by the star, and the Lord showed Himself to them. This time, no, to those who were searching. Perhaps they were not believers, no, but because they were guided, what happened was they were able to see the great revelation, or the greatest revelation of God, no, the Word made flesh on a manger. And then the third epiphany is actually the celebration next Sunday, the feast of the baptism of the Lord. If you remember, as they say, no, when the Lord, no, was already around 30 years old, no, he was baptized in the River Jordan by John the Baptist, no, and as we will always hear in the Gospels, no, what actually happened was that John the Baptist felt, no, uneasy that he would be baptizing the one he pointed as the Messiah, no? But that was the appearance, the manifestation of Jesus, no, before he, began his public ministry. And then the fourth epiphany was at the wedding in Cana, no? You recall, no? Diba, there was a wedding, and then they ran out of wine. Alala niyo, no? And then it was Mary, no, who sort of intervened, no, because the caterers were panicking, and then he talked to Jesus. No, they ran out of wine. It's like, can you come out with a miracle? And then Jesus said, "It is not yet my time." But then Mary said, "Do whatever He tells you." And the water, no, was transformed into the best wine served last. No? So it was like, no, the Lord again showing Himself, no, but this time, no, coming out with a miracle, and He became known as, no, the miracle worker in His own ministry. So, what is actually the message, no, of this feast, no, for us today? I do not know whether you know about this, but if you look at the four Gospels, no, it is only Matthew who has an account of this narrative or this story. Siya lang po yung may kwento, no, about this journey of the Magi. No? And at that time, as the evangelist, when he wrote this this gospel, his audience was a Jewish Christian community who thought to themselves that they were the only ones to be saved. There was like a purist mentality, kami lang ang maliligtas. Remember, Jewish Christians, they were converted also. No? And Matthew perhaps was impressing upon them, no, no, uh, you cannot have that purist mentality. That's why there are three very important lessons, no, of this feast. The first is recognition. Kaya nga sabi nga, no, ang Tagalog nga ng Epiphany, pagpapakita ng Panginoon. At pag nagpakita ang Panginoon, hindi lang siya nagpapakita, nagpapakilala siya. The Magi followed the star, and they were before the one and only star, the true and only light of the world. And when the Lord shows Himself to us, it's important that we recognize Him as someone, who will enlighten us, who will brighten our life, who will lead us to the right path to God. Kaya yan nga magandang itanong, maraming paraan kung paano magpakita ang Panginoon sa atin. Are we able to recognize Him? Or if He is before us, do we ignore Him? Kasi minsan nagpapakita ang Panginoon sa ibang tao, pinapaalala sa atin kung anong tamang gawin, baka nasa family natin, trabaho natin, o member ng community natin. Baka hindi natin pinapansin o nagwawalang tibulang tao. May nangangaral pala, di ba? And we have to open not only our eyes, but also our hearts to the Lord, who always wants to show Himself to us because He loves us. The second lesson is inclusion. Kaya nagpakita at nagpakilala ang Panginoon dito sa mga Magi, some persons from the east, the wise men, because He's trying to tell them, as Matthew was impressing upon the Jewish Christian community, that the Lord does not have that perspective of exclusivity, but inclusivity. Kumbaga, siya ay para sa lahat. And we will understand that in our first two readings. In the book of the prophet Isaiah, as the light is revealed to all nations, the context of that is that the Israelite people were already back to their homeland. And they were again worshiping God. But they were not worshiping alone. There were foreigners also worshiping. And at that time, it is the message that even though you're foreigners, you are not Israelites, you are included and you are not disallowed from worshiping in the temple. Our second reading from the letter of Paul to the Ephesians emphasizes that also. Because Paul, or whoever wrote that letter, it could be a disciple of Paul, was trying to point out that the great revelation is not only to the people of Israel, but even to the Gentiles, even to the non-believers. So, lahat ay kasali. I really remember Pope Francis, when he was in Lisbon, Portugal for World Youth Day. Sabi niya sa Spanish, todos, 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 all. Everyone is included. And it's also telling us, we must not be exclusive. Minsan, tayo din, meron tinatawag na kanya-kanya, tayo-tayo mentality. Hindi dapat ganun, Hindi dahil hindi natin gusto yung isang tao, hindi natin ka-vibes, Okay, hindi natin kasundo, hindi ka nakasali, etchepuera ka na. The message of the Epiphany is try our best to welcome everyone. And then finally, the message is salvation to all. And that's what, the Lord did. when he showed himself to the Magi, no? He was trying to tell them, not only for the Jews, but even to the Gentiles, for unbelievers, even for seekers. Yung naghahanap sa tunay at totoong no? Magbibigay ng kapayapaan sa ating puso. No? Isa may mga magtatanong, halimbawa tayo bilang makasalanan, there's always that feeling, I have sinned against the Lord. Will I still be saved? You know, God is so merciful. He saves all as long as we humble ourselves. And there are those who perhaps have been separated from the fold or from the Christian community, but wanting to come back. The message of the Epiphany, if you come back and you realize that you worship your true God in Jesus Christ, you will be saved. Kaya lahat tayo ililigtas at yun naman ang gusto ng Diyos, that we all be saved. Salvation is not only for the few, but salvation is for all because of the unconditional and tremendous love of God for us. Di ba? So what a beautiful feast today, It's still the Christmas season, We will actually end on the feast of the baptism of the Lord. The feast of the Epiphany presents to us three significant messages. Recognition, and it's an opportunity to always recognize the Lord in our daily life. Open our hearts when He presents Himself to us, shows Himself in the many ways that He wants to. Second, inclusion. Let us be welcoming to others. There are people at the sidelines. There are people perhaps who just want to belong. Let us have that welcoming heart for others, whether in our families or communities. And finally, salvation. Always realize we have many chances to be saved by God. And that's what Jesus did since He incarnated. My offer of salvation is for everybody. And it is because of my great love for you, the whole of the world. Amen.